Hello and welcome to one of our best looks yet at the upcoming Forza Motorsport. Now, there's obviously a much longer trailer with more information from the developers themselves that y'all can watch, and I'll have that linked in the description box down below if you want to watch that. But if you've already watched it, let's go into some of the deeper information that has me extremely excited about the upcoming Forza Motorsport game. Now, first, we need to talk about platform support. Now, the upcoming Forza Motorsport game is built to take advantage of the Xbox Series X and S consoles, but it's also going to be available on Windows 10 and 11 PCs through either the Microsoft Store or Steam, and it'll also be included on Xbox Game Pass on console, PC, and the cloud gaming beta. And if you were ever concerned about the car list not being absolutely massive, you do not need to be concerned anymore, because there will be over 500 cars and over 800 unique upgrades and 20 environments featuring multiple track layouts. So variety is definitely going to be the name of the game here. Now, the cars, they say, are more dynamic than ever before. They've also said we're also delivering the most modern race cars that we have ever featured on our roster, which is really cool, because if you enjoy racing the latest and greatest in terms of actual professional race cars, there will be more of them in this game than any other Forza Motorsport game to date. And they also go on to say that in addition to all of the new vehicles, they've also made massive leaps and bounds in the way the vehicles look by way of a spectrophotometer, which I have no idea what that is. I have no idea how to use one, but I believe them when they say they have used it to make the vehicles look better, because in the gameplay footage, the early gameplay footage that y'all saw in this video, as well as some of the screenshots that the developers have shared, this game looks incredibly beautiful, and so do the cars. Another thing that has me personally really excited is that they claim that the advancements they've made in physics will make no two laps of the same racetrack feel exactly 100% the same, thanks to new ways that the tires will deform and sort of wear in across the course of a race. That's really, really cool, because it's very realistic, and tires will change throughout the course of a race, throughout the course of a time attack, throughout the course of even if you're just doing a track day and running laps, you'll be wearing your tires. The tire temperatures will change. The tire behaviors will change, especially depending on what type of tires you're using, what type of driving they're made for, what tread wear rating the tires are. All of these things contribute to how the tires feel and how they interact with the surface of the racetrack, and so I'm really excited to see how in-depth this new physics simulation actually goes. And yes, I'm sure there are some that might say, well, but it's not going to be as realistic as, insert whatever simulator name here. But I'm actually really excited to see how much more they've put into it, because Forza, especially Forza Motorsport, is one of those series that has kind of added more and more little details as time has gone on and on and on and on. And if you do want to make it more realistic, there are settings that you can go in and kind of dial in to really dial up that physics simulation and dial up that difficulty level. Now, again, is it a hardcore simulator? No, it's still got to be accessible to people that want to just jump in and play it. But I think it's, as far as games that offer such a wide spectrum of playability, like, you can pick up a Forza Motorsport game as a complete casual player, but you can also hook up a motion rig wheel setup to a Forza Motorsport game and have a really good time. And while it might not necessarily be as quote-unquote realistic as some of these, competitive professional simulators that every time I talk about Forza being realistic, there's always a group of people that are like, well, but it's not as realistic as XYZ game. And I'm like, here's the thing, though. those games that are more realistic are 9 times out of 10 designed for one purpose, and that is to be a physics simulator, and they end up falling short in other areas, whereas Forza, especially Forza Motorsport, has so many, it's got such a wide spectrum of goals that I think they do a really good job of hitting. Now, for those of you that really appreciate little details in games like this, I think the new Forza Motorsport is really going to make y'all happy, because not only has the entire damage model been redone, but the way dirt and little pieces of rubber accumulate on a car is entirely new. So, depending on whether or not the areas on the bodywork of a specific car are low pressure or not, that will determine how much dirt and grime will accumulate in those areas over the duration of a race, similarly to how it would in real life, which, again, such interesting attention to detail. I love it. But down to literally individual scratches on the paint, that is how deep they are going in terms of simulating the, and I'm using air quotes here even though you can't see them, damage. Because here's the thing about damage. Whenever someone says damage or car damage in a racing game, usually the first thing that comes to mind is, you know, a car flipping end over end and getting smushed and body panels flying everywhere, kind of BeamNG Drive-esque, right? But damage is again, it's a whole spectrum of different scenarios that can happen to the vehicle. It's everything, I mean, technically, a little tiny chip in the paint or a little tiny scratch in the paint, that's still damage. But not a lot of games will actually simulate that. And so what they're trying to go for here, which I think is really, really cool, is simulate that entire range of how damage can occur across the duration of an entire race. Now, in terms of environments themselves, they didn't get too specific on all of the new ones, but among the 5 new environments that you can race in, one of the ones is a completely new environment to the Forza Motorsport series as a whole, and that is Kyalami in South Africa. Now, there's obviously going to be some different track layouts that you can race on in this particular location, but even though I was a little surprised at the choice for, you know, like that one as the kind of lead-in to all of their new environments, I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to see what it looks like, and I'm excited to see how it plays in the game. And they also say that the tracks will feel more alive than ever thanks to tens of thousands, and yes, you did hear that right, tens of thousands of animated trackside spectators. That is insane because, you know, I'm sure y'all remember, if you've played any of the previous Forza Motorsport titles, you know that feeling of, like, you know, pulling up on like a straightaway, if you're just hanging out with your friends in a multiplayer lobby or something, pulling up on a straightaway and stopping and like looking left to right, and you see up there in the grandstands, you see, like, you know, people just kind of chilling, and they're not really doing anything, they're not really, like, you know, interacting much with the environment. They might move a little bit, but not a huge amount. But tens of thousands of new animated spectators? Oh my god, that's gonna bring so much more life to the tracks. And this next point is one that made me incredibly happy, and I think is gonna be a huge, huge deal for so many of y'all, and it comes down to sound design, or rather, updates to sound design. Now, we know that in previous Forza games, yes, installing a turbo or a supercharger would change the way your vehicle sounds, but it's gonna go a lot further than that in the new Forza Motorsport. Every single exhaust modification on every single car is going to have a direct impact on the way that car sounds. And that is one of the best things I could have ever heard in regards to this game. That actually makes me more excited for this game than so many different things they've announced. The whole thing makes me excited, but that particular detail right there is huge. Because here's the thing. Sound is one of the biggest reasons why so many of us love cars, because those sounds stir different emotions inside of us, and they bring the cars to life. They really do help bring the cars to life. Why do you think people buy a different exhaust setup for their car? They buy a different intake setup. A lot of it is the emotion that it stirs in the way that it sounds, and if we can get an even deeper sound experience, or rather sonic experience, out of Forza Motorsport, Motorsport, it's gonna make the experience even better. Now, there were some details that I did not go over in this video. This video was about going over the details that made me the most excited and also the details that I figured y'all would be the most excited about. But if there's anything else you guys would like to know about the latest Forza Motorsport game, let me know. Any questions you may have in the comment section down below, and I will see what I can dig and discover. Maybe not. I can't promise I can answer everything, but who knows? I may be able to find something out there somewhere. But we will be back soon with more information about the upcoming Forza Motorsport game as the information, of course, becomes available. But that's going to do it for this video, y'all. And if you enjoyed, make sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I will see y'all next time. Talk to y'all later.